So if you have been with Acts Church for the last couple of years, you've heard me talk a ton about us wanting to move forward by faith into the unseen. Of course, that call came to us at the beginning of 2020 when we read the story of Abraham, and that was his journey, was trusting God and stepping out in faith. And for us as a church, we felt like our next big step of faith was believing God to give us our next location, a permanent home for us to be in instead of renting all the time, being able to leverage that energy into more ministry and increase in influence. So we started walking at the beginning of 2020. We cut costs, we locked budgets, we encouraged generosity, and we saved as much as we could to get ready for the step. And now here we are at the end of this 2-year journey, and we already feel like God has pointed at a location and told us this is the place that I have for you, that He has come through on the promise. We started marching forward into the unseen, and now He is pointing and saying, here it is. And we are right against the end of this season, finishing up this 2-year journey of walking by faith, believing that God is going to finalize the last details and give us this location. But I told you that we are this close, but not there yet. And that reminded me, of course, the story of Abraham when God came back to him and said that He was going to bless him again. Genesis 15:7, it says, the Lord told him, I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land as your possession, saying, I promise this is going to be yours. And of course, Abraham said, O sovereign Lord, how can I be sure that I will actually possess it? And that's kind of where we sit. I told you if you were here when I laid out this whole vision, God didn't ask Abram to do a bunch of other work, do a bunch of other things, strategize. What He said is, you bring me a sacrifice and I'll do the miraculous work to give you this inheritance that I've promised you. We believe that God has brought us to this place and pointed to this location and said, I will give it to you. And here we are at the end of this 2-year journey, and we feel the same call to lay out our sacrifice and watch as the Lord does the miraculous. So here's what I just love to ask you for a second. If you're not part of Acts Church, you can click off this. It's probably not going to be interesting. But if Acts is your home, you're a Jesus follower, I'd love to invite you to just do 2 things with me really quick. One, would you join me in prayer right now that God would do the miraculous in solidifying this property that He wants to give us? Would you pray and would you ask God to do the miraculous work that only He can do so that this building, which is not for sale, would be sold to us, which is awesome to think about? And then number 2, would you please bring your sacrifice and lay it out to the Lord? I told you this, I believe, like wholeheartedly, God is getting ready to accomplish this task, to prove how faithful He is. But I don't want you watching this miracle from the sidelines. I want you to be a part of it. So I would just invite you, would you take and would you pray in the next days, and would you bring your sacrifice and lay it in front of the Lord? Give your part. I've told you before, some of you, as you pray and you ask God, He's going to say, you sacrificed over these last 2 years. You've been with us on this journey, and you've made the sacrifice to give generously towards this Move Forward campaign that we've been in to make these next steps. But I think for some more of you, God might say, there's something I want you to bring. I told you this, I don't want anyone to give any more than God asks them, but would you ask God if He would have you bring a sacrifice? And it's really simple. We're actually taking a last kind of the offering of the Move Forward campaign this weekend, November 28th on Sunday morning. We are taking special time in both services to take this offering and pray that God would use our sacrifice to accomplish the impossible. So if you're going to be here this weekend, you can bring something as far as an offering that you want to give to that time. But as well, we know that people are not, people who bring checks and cash anymore. You can give digitally right now. You can go online to actschurch.com/give. You can text MOVE to this number right there, 825-6500, with any dollar amount, and you can give to that as well. But we want to finish out this year strong and bring our sacrifice so that then God can do the miraculous and give us this building. On top of that, God is so faithful. He already took and led somebody in our church to make like bonus cash out of this and say they would match dollar for dollar up to the first $20,000 given to this month. So if you feel like God's saying, yeah, would you give? He's already going to multiply that in order to make this next step happen. Here's what I believe. God is getting ready. He's getting ready to do the miraculous and to give us this next step, to give us this property. Would you just join me in praying and bringing your sacrifice this weekend, whether online or in person? I can't wait to see God accomplish this, and I want you to be part of the miracle. Let's move forward by faith into the unseen and finish out this amazing 2-year journey that God has had us on. I love you guys.